Hello, good afternoon. Hello. Hello, afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, welcome, good afternoon. Hello, afternoon over here. Hello, good day, everyone. Hello, good day, everyone. Hey, I'm Mr. Shang from Manchester College, the admission department. So we would just hang on for a few minutes until the rest of the delegates come in. And then after that, we will start with the quick DBA trial class briefing. And that's what we are going to cover for this afternoon over here in Malaysia. Right, so we just wait for a couple of minutes. So just wait for the rest of the interested delegates to come in, and then we shall start the session soon. Okay. So basically, this DBA trial class will take approximately 2 hours, starting now. And over here in Malaysia, it's 3 p.m. So for my sessions, I'm going to take about 1 hour to describe a little bit further on this program. Of course, if you have any questions that you wish to ask along this way, you can just feel free to type in the chat box. I'll be more than happy to actually answer all the necessary questions. After my sessions, I'll be directing the traffics to the DBA live class today, which is the business strategy class by Zoom, which will be taught by Dr. Mala, which she's a very experienced lecturer, has been in the field for many years, about 15 years, both in corporate as well as academic. So we believe that with her vast experiences in the field, she could actually, churn up a lot of ideas on strategies. And of course, the session we had in the morning was exploding, whereby students were all discussing the matters. And of course, they all enjoyed the breakout room in a Zoom. So they have a lot of brilliant ideas that they all share across the entire morning session. So we shall do the same for this afternoon session. So at first, we'll go through my sections, which I'll be briefing through a little bit further on this program. And then later on, I will direct the traffics over there. Okay, so we just wait for one more minute and we will commence with the sessions. As I mentioned along the way, if you have any questions, just feel free to post in the chat box. I'll be more than happy to guide you through. Okay. Okay. Right, okay, let's get started. So basically, for today, well, everyone, just good afternoon, everyone once more. I'm Mr. Sheng, the admission team, head of admission team for Manchester College. So basically, we're having this DBA trial class live from Facebook. This is the first time we're doing this in the Facebook. So we have the morning session, and then now is the afternoon sessions, catering for other candidates who prefer to enter the afternoon session. So in my part, this is the part one of the DBA trial class. I'll be guiding through everyone's about some of the backgrounds and interesting topics pertaining to the DBA program. So basically, today we are going to talk about a few things. The first item that we're going to talk about will be the background of Manchester College. This is where we are, and to have some basic understanding where we are from and what kind of achievement we have achieved along this operations year. And after that, we'll be touching a little bit further on the backgrounds of the IPE fronts, which is the awarding body of this DBA qualification, so that you understand what will be the achievements, what are the past records, track records this university possess, so that you will have much more confidence when you obtain the qualification from this institution. The second part, which I'm going to cover through later on, would be the reasoning. So basically, we have conducted a lot of seminars previously. We actually done that in the closed group, and this is the first time we're doing it in online, in live. So basically, we have came across a lot of inquiries from students coming from Malaysia as well as internationally. So some of the frequently asked questions would be, what are the reasons where candidates want to pursue a DBA? And of course, the second favorite questions that is posted by candidates would be the differences between a DBA compared to a PhD. So we will do some comparison, at least you have a clear understanding what are the differences between these two doctorate programs, and then what will be the career opportunities for candidates who has completed this qualification. And then later on, we will also touch a little bit further on the lecturers' background so that you have a good understanding on who are lecturers, where they're from, what kind of credentials and achievements our lecturers possess, and followed by our students' background. So you will have, I'll also showcase some of the student background that we have, so that you can know, you have a better understanding when you enter the class, what kind of expectation interactions that you'll be expecting. To be honest, they have a morning session just a couple of hours ago, and the discussion about the latest trend on business strategy were awesome. So trust me, so later on, when we put the traffics to the second part of this this trial class session, I would appreciate everyone just feel free, unmute your mic later on and unmute your webcam. Have more interactions. You will actually love the discussion sessions that they will have across this program. Of course, the last parts that we're going to touch a little bit further will be the program structure. It's a little bit dry, but it is important so that when you come aboard with us in this program, you know exactly what are the subjects that you need to go through, and of course, how to achieve your doctorate qualification. And of course, lastly, will be the Q&A. So we will cover a few things today. And of course, as I mentioned, for those who just come in and join us, welcome. Just feel free along this way, if you have any questions, just feel free to post a question in the comment sections. I'll be more than happy to actually address all these questions. All right, so let's move on. Basically, just a little bit background about Mentisa. So basically where we are from. So I'm Mr. Sheng, the admission team head of departments for the Mentisa College. Basically, Mentisa College was established since the year 1999. So by calculating this year, 2020, we have been in operation, dealing with educational programs for the last 21 years. And of course, in terms of locations, yes, we have a physical setup and campus located in Taman Tun, Dr. Ismail. For Malaysians who are familiar, we are located in Taman Tun, Kuala Lumpur, which is in the capital city of Malaysia. And of course, over here, if you have a chance after the COVID-19, please feel free to visit our campus. Around here, we have a lot of nice restaurant amenities. We have a lot of facilities, banking facilities, transport. Yes, you can come with public transport. It is quite a lovely place. And of course, for those who likes to go for evening jog, you can actually do so too, because Taman Tun is actually, it was designed by the local developer, modeling against the Hyde Park back in the UK in London. So it is a very nice park. A lot of Malaysians like to spend our time over at the amenities and across the weekend. So if you have a chance, just welcome, just visit Mentisa College, or you can just visit Taman Tun. Have a nice chat around with the local peoples around here. You will definitely love this place. Right, down to what we achieved, basically, in terms of our experience, Mentisa College, we have graduated more than 15,000 students from over 50 countries throughout our operation years. In fact, we have been training good students graduating from the doctorate program. In fact, we offer all series of business programs, starting from the top level, the doctorate program, down to master's program, degree program, diploma program, and certificates program. So we actually offer a series of business programs to all students. And since our operations until now, we have graduated more than 15,000 students, and they're all now residing within Malaysia as well as abroad. Okay, so we are also happy, since today we're talking about doctorate program. It's a doctorate trial class program. We're happy to tell everyone that Mentisa College is the first college in Malaysia with a fully accredited MQA DBA. So other providers or other institutions that offers doctorate qualification, it can be PhD or DBA, they are mostly all university colleges or university. But at the college level, we are the first institution in Malaysia who achieved this, because we have strong reputation as well as experience in education. So we satisfy all the necessary local requirements. So with this MQA in mind, so it is a peace of mind for students. when you complete your qualification with us, for Malaysian students, if you want to apply to the civil service department, you want to work for the government of Malaysia, for example, then yes, this qualification is recognized by the government of Malaysia. You may apply for the positions that are available. Likewise, for foreign students, this MQA, it is useful if you are planning to use the qualification for migration purposes, such as in Singapore, or you want to migrate to Australia, etc. Basically, when you apply for the visa to those countries, basically the immigrations or border control of those countries will always refer back to the qualification that are properly established in the home ground. So the last point would be, we are actually, Mantissa College is one of the top 5 largest DBA faculties in Malaysia. In fact, we graduated quite a lot of doctorate candidates throughout our operations. Of course, now all our doctorate students are everywhere. They hold good positions, which we will cover that just to have a little bit teaser and backgrounds on where our students are coming from in the second part of the slides at a later stage, right? So these are some of the backgrounds about Mantissa. Of course, other than that, some backgrounds, of course, you can check. These are all public information. These are some of the awards that Mantissa College has achieved along this way. So these are the awards that are awarded by the government, which is the Ministry of Higher Education of Malaysia. It's not from private bodies, but all awards are given by the governance body. So we are pretty happy that we achieve and always score well. And of course, we should have a rating rating evaluation this year. But unfortunately, due to the COVID-19, the Ministry of Education of Malaysia has temporarily prolonged this practice. But of course, hopefully by next year, in the year of 2021, we should have this rating updated. All right. Right, let's move on to the second component, a little bit backgrounds on the IPE. So the reason why I would like to put to your attention about the IPE is because this doctorate qualification, it is a in collaboration program with Mantissa College. In simpler terms, it means that students will have the opportunity to study with us. The program will be monitored by Mantissa College and our faculties. However, at the end of this qualification, you will be receiving this French awarded doctorate qualification. So in the final certs, the certificates, the transcript, the letter of completion, it will not state as if you complete this program from Malaysia or from Mantissa College, or even online. Just for information, we have the online doctorate program. So it won't mention all these terms and words, but the final certs that you receive will only bear the IPE PPA France. And of course, there's no mention about Mantissa, no mention about Malaysia, or even online if you're going for that track. So it will be awarded directly by the university. And of course, just a little bit background on what is this university achieve. So basically, it is a private university located in Paris, France, in Europe. And of course, in France or in Paris itself, they have 6 campuses across the capital city in Paris. So basically, all the programs are approved. In France, it's called the CNCP, as well as the RNCP. So it is very useful for any of our students who later on, if you plans to do work or migration, has something to do with European Union. So basically, this qualification is acceptable by the European Union. So when we say European Union, it means that it opens up the markets to the entire European Union's all the country. They have the similar standards, so they will all refer back to these regulatory body. All right, so let's move on to the next component. We will talk a little bit on the reasoning, so PhD and DBA. So as I mentioned, we have been counseling a lot of students on this matter. And I think it would be great for me to have this opportunity today, since we have a trial class, to address this clearly. Of course, this slide is not the best slide, but I'll try my best to simplify the terms and the differentiation between these two, so that we have a clear understanding on the differences and the similarity between these two. So basically, in terms of similarity, a DBA, a Doctor of Business Administration, compared to a PhD, I would say that in academic point of view, both of these qualifications are considered as the highest level, which is the level 8 qualification. So these are the similarities. Of course, some other similarity means that at the end of this study, both candidates from a DBA or a PhD, you can actually bear the doctor title, DR, in front of a name. If you plan to use it for your corporates or in your name card, you can actually bear that title. The third similarity would be, regardless if you graduated from a DBA or a PhD, if you have the intention to work with institutions in the future, let's say on a part-time basis, you can, right? Because these two qualifications are accepted. However, I'd like to just point out, when I mention academic qualification, I'm referring to generic institution. However, if you are planning to apply for Ivy League universities such as the NUS Singapore, Harvard, and Oxford, those top-ranked universities, I would say that most likely those HR departments or recruitment team from those Ivy League university, they would usually prefer candidates with a PhD rather than a DBA. Because the reason why is because those institutions, when they are fighting for ranks, they like to get in lecturers or professor who can write good PhD work that can actually help them a lot in scoring. So other than that, if you are planning to just work as a part-time lecturers in some of the local institutions, normal institutions, yes, there shouldn't be any problem because this is a proper academic qualification. Now let's move into some of the differences between the DBA and PhD. Let's look into the one on your left, a DBA. So basically a DBA, we would say that we attract students. Most of the students that study the DBA, they are all successful businessmen and women, which work for many years. And of course, the reason why they're coming into a DBA is because they would like to look for some new intellectual challenges. That is pretty true because we have actually done a lot of survey with our existing students. They all hold good high positions in the company. And of course, they have the necessary financial freedom. They have the necessary achievement in life. But they are looking at something known as the purpose in life. So they have achieved most of the things in life. They have families and so not. And then on one time they are just looking at it is time I need to do something, right? So this is the so-called something that you can actually drive from this DBA program. The DBA program will serve as a platform for students, right, with this interest, right, whereby when you go into the class, you will have a lot of interaction with the rest of the peers. And just imagine all your peers are successful directors, CEOs, or managers from companies. And when topics are discussed in the class, you will love it because that is the time where students will have the best opportunity to have interactions. You get a different perspective on how to solve a same problem from different perspective. As I mentioned earlier on, we have students coming from 15 over industries, and all of them host different so-called positions in the respective company. So when you have an issue that is thrown on the table and the lecturers or professor would like you to discuss with your fellow classmate in the class, that is where you will have a very good discussion because maybe in this matter, you will only use whatever experience that you have gathered across the year, and then you are discussing the matter from your point of view. However, you can learn quite a lot when other of your classmates from different industry and backgrounds are chipping in ideas. That is where it will broaden out your perspective on the matter. So that is why people like to go for DBA because it is usually very relevant to the business industry. And of course, as I mentioned, we always attract a lot of successful business persons and women, businessmen and women to join the program so that you have an explosion of ideas when you have this session with us. On the other hand, if you look at the right side about a PhD, one of the primary goals that people goes for PhD is because of the career objective to be academician. As I mentioned, people who like to go for PhD usually are those candidates who already have a clear mind that when I finish my PhD, I would like to work in the environment of a university and I like to do research. So if you have those intentions in mind, then yes, PhD will be a much more appropriate program for you if you're looking at your career goals in that pathway. However, for those who plans to apply your knowledge in your own company, your own setup, or something to do with the corporate, then a DBA will be a better option for you. Now let's look through the second differences. The second differences that you can refer to is on your left side, the DBA, would be the class arrangement. So when the students go into a DBA program, it is quite similar to what you have experienced at your master's level, whereby when you step in the program in the first year, for example, you need to go through all the 8 subjects with lecture. As I mentioned, the lecturing part will be very interesting because that is where you have an explosion of idea. You have good feedback and perspective from the rest of your peers on the matter. That is where you spend most of the happy time discussing about the matter. And then later on, when you step into the year 2 and year 3, for example, or year 4 of the program, that is where you need to spend your time in writing your doctorate thesis. That is where when you write your doctorate thesis, usually for DBA, the students will actually try to relate whatever theories that you can think of that you can relate back to your company for improvement purposes. So you can see that DBA is very much practical in a sense where it is relevant to the life environment. Whereas on the other hand, a PhD, students, when they step into this a PhD program, they would need to go through a pure research environment. So meaning that when you step into a PhD program from the day one, your objective is to write good papers, academic papers. So most of the PhD that I know of course, there are some exceptional, but most of the PhD that I know of, when the students go into the program, they are required to produce the title and they have to start writing the thesis. So that is where they are specialized in writing, whereby most students would spend at least 5 years, 6 years, or 7 years, some of them 8 years, to complete a PhD, because they are very thorough in the research. But however, I'll stress that most of the research written in the PhD program would be more academic driven. Yeah, it's not commercially driven, but academic focus driven. Now let's look into the third differences between these two programs. On the left side, the DBA program, the core ideas of the students, attempting the DBA is because it requires less extended existing theory. So it simply means that when the students go into a DBA program, we don't really look into much detail or specialties in those theory, which means that you don't really need to create your own theories as per se, but you can actually use an existing business theory that you think sorry, it is appropriate to your company. And then what you as a DBA students can do is to enhance these existing theories, and you can do some modification, suggestion, recommendation, and then you can apply it back to your corporation. That would be the structure or the learning outcome of the DBA program. As I keep on stressing again, DBA is very much commercially relevant, whereby a learner can go into the program, you can do a lot of research, and with the ultimate objective of improving your corporations or your company. Now, on the other hand, a PhD, right? The core ideas or the learning outcome of a PhD is requiring the candidates to create new academic concept, right? So because you have at least 5 to 6 years or 7 years, 8 years to complete a PhD thesis writing, usually the university faculty will require the PhD candidates to formulate theories that may not be available in the market. So you may need to rethink the whole thing again. You need to do a lot of testing with your data. But ultimately, as I say, those kind of topics may not be necessarily required to be relevant to the company. But it is a so-called business model that you think it can enhance to the business corporation on general basis. All right, so these are some of the differences between the two comparison. And of course, let's go through a few more slides to have a clear understanding on these two programs. Now, before I move on, let's see if you have any questions. All right, so I'll just post up this question by Narisha. Basically, is the qualification awarded in English? Yes, I would say yes. The so-called final certificates and transcript and large completions would be awarded in English. However, if let's say the students require a French version, yes, you may also request that so that the entire documents, when it's produced by the university, will all be written in French language. So that is quite useful if you plans to have your career enhancement in European Union at a later stage. If you think it's necessary, then yes, why not? You can actually request it. But however, by the standard arrangement, all the qualifications that we produce or university produce will be written in English language only. Right, let's move on to the next sections, which is on the backgrounds of our students. So basically, just for your information, I keep on stressing the backgrounds, where our students come from and where they are from. So basically, just for information, majority of our students are doctorate students. are aged between 30 to 69. So an average age is about 47. So basically they are all, in the industry. They have been working for many years, 15, 20 years, or even more. In fact, the so-called eldest candidates that we ever received, that was, I think, 2 years ago. I keep on forgetting the years, sorry. The eldest candidates that we received were at the late 60s. So yes, we do have a lot of good learners that's joining the program. That is just for your information, if you are keen. Of course, in terms of the second information about our students on the gender breakdowns, yes, I'll say 27% are female students and the remaining 72% are all male students. In terms of entry requirements, just to clarify, the university only requires the candidates to possess a valid master's to apply. So meaning that as long as the candidates possess a master's qualification from any institution that is relevant, right, then you can be accepted into this program. However, in terms of entry requirements over here, sorry, this part. So our existing students actually, I'll say majority of them possess beyond the entry requirements, meaning that most of our students, they possess double masters, triple masters, and then they are applying for this doctorate program. And we also have quite a handful of students who already possess a PhD qualification from other institutions. And of course, they would like to pursue into the doctorate qualification with us. So yes, we have a lot of students with over qualifications, but as I mentioned, each of them would like to use, would like to learn some elements from this program, which I can actually share with you the reasons later on why our students are picking up the programs for us. Right, in terms of the next part will be the nationality. As mentioned in the previous slides, we have actually trained and tutored more than 50 countries, students coming from 50 other countries. So basically, our students actually predominantly came from Malaysia. And of course, we also have students coming from the neighboring country in Southeast Asia, followed by South Asia continents, Central Asia, as well as the African continents. So we do have a lot of students coming, ranging from almost 50 other countries that join and participate in this program. And this is a very important thing, because when you have your discussion in a class, usually different students with different perspective and background will give you a good new ideas. So for example, we had this discussion held a couple of subjects ago, whereby there were two matured candidates. Both of them works from a civil service department, which means they work for their government in their respective country. So when we have this matter that was discussed in the class, so basically, students from engineering background in Malaysia would give their opinion based on their experiences, whatever information and insight they have in the engineering industry. However, interestingly, because we involve a lot of students from other countries, students who are holding some managerial or I'll say governmental positions from country A, the opinion that they give are surprisingly quite different compared to the same departmental opinions given by the candidates from the country B. So it is very interesting. So it gave students a wider perspective. So meaning that in the same matter, it will be perceived differently by different people from different backgrounds, and it is very good for those who are keen to expand your business internationally, because you know best how the culture works, what kind of policies that you may discuss a little bit in the classroom that happens in those respective country. And then yes, it actually will serve you it will give you a lot of edge in terms of knowing things in advance compared to try and error when you try to expand your business to those countries at a later stage. So these are some of the benefits that you can actually take away by having a lot of students from different perspective and background. Let's move on to the last thing, would be the average income, because this last income, average income data, it's required by the university, because the university like to make sure that we get in good students. They want to basically know more about our students and so on. So we have actually compiled this annual income average list somewhere around the 2019. So these are some of the latest figures that were given by our students in the 2019s. So basically, as I say, majority of our students, I'd say 60+% of our students are holding positions such as directors in the respective company. They are all coming from private government-linked students. You will have a different perspective. Again and again, I keep on stressing, you have a lot of perspective when you have good discussion with students coming from various big background. All right, let's move on to the next component where I'm going to cover a little bit. I'll just cover a little bit more on the student backgrounds. basically these are the positions that our students have. So we actually gathered the only 40 for now. I just gathered it last week. 40 students on the DBA program. We'd actually asked them survey what kind of positions you're having, why you want to take out the DBA program. And I would say that all these 40 students existing real student with us, they came from 10 different industry globally in Malaysia, from Malaysia as well as globally. And of course, we are able to split them out into 3 groups in terms of positions and ranks. So the majority, as I say, 47, were at least a director's positions in the respective company. It is not so appropriate for me to list the company, but if you're keen, we can have a one-to-one chat later. I can show you the list and who are the students, where they're from, for example. But since this is the live broadcast, I'll just put the ranks, their positions, so that you know who are the colleagues or classmates that you may be joining them at the later program. So 30% of them are either CEO, COO, for example, general manager, and etc. in the positions and company, and then 23% were the head of department of the respective company. So these are all the students that are participating in the class. They're now signing up for the program. So of course later on you will have a chance to actually meet some of them in the class in the part 2 sessions, which is the business strategy class taught by Dr. Mala in the part 2 of these sessions later on. All right, move on the reasons. So basically, we did check with these 40 students, DBA students, somewhere around last week, on why would you seems to be very successful. You have your companies, you have your qualifications. Some of them have a PhD qualification. Why do you still like to pursue a doctorate DBA with us? So these are some of the breakdowns which we find it very interesting, and I believe it's true. So 32.6% of our students actually told us that the reason why they are taking up a doctorate DBA program is because they would like to enhance their skill. What do you mean by that? So some of these successful business owner, they have actually spearheaded the company until a certain point, meaning that the company were in existence, but they have no major breakthrough, which means the company is earning the same amount, somewhere the same every single year, average. So there's no breakthrough. So these bosses from this company would actually try, to figure out what will be the new things that are happening and developing in the market. So where can I learn all this new skill that I can learn and then ultimately apply into my company for expansion. So basically, some of these skills, when we did a survey, say majority of them says that they like to enhance the management skill because they think that management is very important in managing the company, followed by strategic planning, because things in markets are always changing with the COVID-19 coming in. Corporation needs to change your strategies from time to time. So they would like to know what are the new ideas, what are the solutions that people has in the market that they can probably apply that into the company. So that would be strategic marketing. And of course, leadership skill for those bosses who like to expand the businesses, which you will need to hire staff from different backgrounds or nationality. You need to know what kind of leadership skill you need to have in order to manage the team well. Of course, the last thing that some students like to do is big data analysis, because some of these companies, they are working with data and stats or even consultancy. They would need to know how to actually streamline the potential list. So there are some of the techniques that these top management would like to learn at the advanced level. That is one of the ultimate reasons why they are taking up a DBA program. The second main reason why our DBA students like to go for this program is because they want to transfer the research skill into the business. As stressed in my previous so-called slides, majority of them, they would like to learn something, and then ultimately they will want to have the platform through the DBA program to discuss with the supervisor to come up with some good models that they think is practical for their company. So by the time they finish the thesis writing, they would like to apply those research that they have done across this year into the company for expansion purposes. Now, the third reason why our DBA students would like to take up this program is because simply easy. 24.9% of them says that they would like to stand up from crowds during interview and promotion. So some of them, as I mentioned, they are head of departments, or even they are at the managerial level, or so-called in a company. So during this, COVID-19, most of company, we need to think of new strategies and ideas. And of course, some students actually want to stand out from the crowd. So they think that, again, the same thing, it's all about knowledge transfer, right? Transfer of knowledge. They would like to join, right, these existing students from higher positions to understand what are the perspectives and then hopefully they can actually stand out from the crowds when a company has positioned for promotion, right? So the next reason, number 4, 7.42% of our DBA students would like to go for this program because it's due to their own visions, right? Some of them, as I mentioned, elder candidates, somewhere around 50, 60 years old, they joined in the program because we have quite a good numbers, a few of them. When we ask them, you are almost at your retire age, you have your companies, you are directors, why do you still like to take a DBA even though you are now retiring? You are sitting at the back of the board. But then the response that we get were astonishing. So they were telling us that the reason why I take a DBA is because I want to feel satisfied. Previously, I worked for my company, I have no time. Now I have the time, I need to learn something. And more importantly, for own vision, they would like to inspire their sons and daughter. So basically, we have students like that, whereby they want to take out a DBA so that they can show to their son or daughters or even family members that learning never stops. That even though he she is a retired person, he would still like to inspire the family members to upgrade their knowledge. So very interesting. So these are some of the feedback and response that we get from our students. And of course, I believe that some of these points may be relevant to you as well. All right, so let's move on to the next component. Sorry, I keep on forgetting. So basically, these are some of the feedbacks. So as I mentioned, we actually get it from more than 40 of our students because now everyone is studying at home. So the only means that we can communicate with them is through WhatsApp or emails. So these are some of the feedbacks provided by the students. So you can see that majority of our students, they hold high positions. As I say, there's a combination of foreign and Malaysian students as well. And these are some of the reasons why they would like to pursue a doctorate qualification. All right. Now let's move on into the lecturer profile, into the next component. Basically, in terms of lecturers, okay, let's see who they are. So I'd say that 90% of our lecturers are Malaysian lecturers, while 10%, there's an error in the slide, but it's actually 10% of our lecturers are non-Malaysian lecturers. So in terms of our lecturers, on average, our lecturers have corporate experiences from at least 15 years to 20 years in the corporate world, and not forgetting they have the necessary academic qualification as well. So just for information, 70% of our lecturers possess a PhD or DBA qualifications, and of course they have the working experiences in the industry. So the industries that our lecturers are coming from are spreading across 18 different industries. Some of them previously work or still existingly work with the multinational companies. Some are self-business company. And of course, we have a lot of lecturers coming from different backgrounds. In fact, we do have lecturers coming in from engineering backgrounds, logistic backgrounds, consultancy, banking, finance, even government departments. We do have self-entrepreneur. We have students doing so-called precious stones. We have students doing money exchanges, ICT. These are some of the backgrounds that our lecturers are coming from. In fact, I would just like to show you, if you just give me a minute, sorry. I'm just going to show you, just one moment, please. Right, I'm going to show you the lecturer's profile because we have actually compiled all the lecturer's profile. I'm not sure if you're seeing this. Yeah, you're seeing this, sorry. So these are some of the lecturer's profile. It's all 10 pages long. Of course, for any students, if you'd like to get a copy to read through the lecturer's profile, where they're from and what are the achievement, you can actually later on contact your program consultant, either Mr. Desmond or Katie. So we can actually send you this copy for your further perusal. So you can see that, as I mentioned, 70% of our lecturers, they are doctors, They came from so-called private sectors and government sectors, as well as multinational companies. So these are all the 10 pages long of our lecturer's profile. Of course, as I mentioned, if you'd like to request for this copy, no problem. You can just always contact our program consultant so that we can actually provide you with the necessary so-called lecturer sheets, right? Okay, let's move on to the next thing. Just hold on, I'll just bring this back. Okay, right. So let's move into the dry stuff. So before I go into more details, as I always stress, if you have any questions pertaining to the program which are not clearly covered or not clear, you can always just feel free to write it in the comment sections. I'll be more than happy to actually address those questions. Yeah. So let's move on to the dry stuff, which is the program structure. So in terms of this program, it's pretty simple. The program that you inquired for basically is the Doctor of Business Administration program. We call it a DBA program. As mentioned earlier, this is a collaborative program from the IPE PPA France. So at the end of this qualification, students will be receiving the French awarded doctorate qualification. And of course, since we are delivering, or Mantissa College from Malaysia is a Commonwealth country that we manage this program over here, we don't speak French, unfortunately. So that is why the final certifications, documents, or transcript will be all taught, printed, everything in English, right? So in terms of the study duration, I'll just point to this, study duration. Basically, we have two modes of studies for the doctorate program. The first mode of studies would be, candidates who like to apply for those face-to-face lecture, right? So, but I would like to stress that for this year, in the year of 2020, because there's the unprecedented COVID-19 epidemics here in Malaysia and globally, Mantissa College has received a directive from the Ministry of Higher Education in Malaysia by asking us, all classes that are held in this year, 2020, shall be conducted through online until indefinitely. So in fact, we do not know, honestly, how long this trend needs to carry on. But I mean, it is good that we always tell students up front that because of COVID-19, temporary all the classes will be conducted online. And then once the situation gets better by next year in 2021, then yes, for those students who sign up for the face-to-face class, you can always, just come back and visit us, attend a class here on a face-to-face basis in Taman Tun. Right. The second options that is catered for students who prefers the online study. So just to clarify, we also have the exact program that are carried across online. So online in our definition means that all the subjects that you need to attend classes, as well as supervision and etc., will be all done completely online. So even though the COVID-19 has recovered, let's say by next year, yes, since you registered for an online program, you may actually just continue with the class through the online route as well. All right. So in terms of those candidates applying for online program, your study duration will be spread across 24 months to 16 months. So that is about 2 years or maximum 5 years. It's quite the same so-called duration. Just to clarify later on the semesters, so we have over here at Mantissa College, we have 3 major semesters in a year. Namely the January semesters, number 1. Number 2 would be the April semesters and the August semester. January, April, August. So in a year, we have 3 so-called major semesters in a year. And of course, if we are looking at 6 semesters, that is approximately 2 years and so on. All right. So basically, for those who are keen to be academician, it is important. This qualification, at the end of it, you will be receiving an 80 credits doctorate qualification, which is on par with the National Education Framework in Malaysia. Now, in terms of the subjects, in order for you to receive this doctorate qualification, a student needs to complete all the 11 subjects. So basically, under these 11 subjects, we will split that up into 2 components. The part 1 component actually consisting of 8 subjects. We call it subjects 1 all the way to subjects 8. That is what we call as the part 1 module. Under the part 1 module, students, you are required to attend classes. There are 8 subjects, so 8 classes. So let me give you an example on the class schedule. So basically, these 8 subjects will be offered and delivered to students in a modular basis. Let me give you an overview. I'll come back to the slides. So just to clarify, these are the 8 subjects that you need to attend lectures, right? which we will offer these individual subjects on the modular basis. So when modular basis, it basically means that one subject will be offered at a point of time spreading across 6 weekends. You can look at the slide, so spreading across 6 weekends. What do you mean by this? Let me give you an example. Today is the 21st of November. It's a Saturday, and tomorrow is the Sunday, the 22nd. So when a student is enrolled, let's say you're coming in for the first class today, you are taking up the business strategy class. So the class will actually be conducted from morning. We actually have the morning session, which starts at Malaysia time 10 a.m. and of course ends at 5 p.m. for both days, the Saturday and Sunday. So meaning that you are just required to attend one weekend of classes. Let's say this is the first weekend, and later on across the weekend 2 all the way to weekend 6, you don't need to attend any classes, because those are the free time we will give up to students for you to prepare your assignment. Probably you have a work commitment or family time commitment that you need to address too. However, for those students, if you ever encounter with any academic issues that you need to get some consultation with, you can always get in touch with our lecturers across the weekend 2 to 5 to address the matter. Otherwise, on the weekend 6, all you need to do is just to submit one piece of assignment with a word length of 6,000 words through the student portal, and that would actually conclude the progression of these subjects 1. So once you understand this concept, all you need to do is just to repeat this exact structure again for another 6 weekends for all the remaining subjects. So these are the 8 subjects that you need to go through this exact structure. So by the time you step into the year 2 of this program, that is where you will start writing your doctorate thesis. Just to clarify, the subjects number 9, 10, 11 will be deemed as a singular component of your doctorate thesis. Subjects number 9 will be the progression status of your chapter 1 and 2. So under the chapter 1 and 2, it basically covers the introductions, the objective of your research, and your hypothesis of research. That is all written in your chapter 1 and 2. And then later on, the subjects number 10 will focus on your chapter 3 and 4. Chapter 3 and 4 will focus on the data collections. For example, you need to collect your primary data, your secondary data, that are all collected in the chapter 3. And in chapter 4, you need to crunch your data using the necessary business model, such as statistical tools, strategies, or even SPSS software to analyze and crunch your data, that are all in the chapter 4. And then later on, the subjects 11 will be known as your chapter 5. Chapter 5 will be the summary, recommendation, and conclusions that you need to complete and concludes your doctorate thesis. So basically, students will be given a one-to-one guidance, right? Which means that you need to speak to your lecturers or supervisor on a one-to-one basis to get that done. So in fact, towards the end of this program, before you graduate from this program, all doctorate candidates, it's also required to attend a mandatory viva voce sessions. So that is so-called a presentation sessions, whereby 3 externally appointed supervisor will observe your sessions. During that time, you are required to present your thesis and findings and the overview of your research objective. Of course, since this is similar to exams or so-called oral exams, questions will be posted by the panelists, and all the questions must be properly answered. Once you have satisfied the academic understanding, only then you will be conferred with this doctorate qualification. All right, so that is very straightforward. Of course, yeah, let's go through a little bit further on the part 2. So now, some students basically will ask, how many years do I need to complete the thesis writing, and what will be the format? So basically, I have to share with students, we have graduated a lot of doctorate students with us, more than hundreds of them, and I'd say that they are students that can successfully complete all the 8 core subjects with lectures, and of course the thesis in 2 years. But of course, I have to be frank, most of the students would take the suitable time, which is 3 years in total, to complete a doctorate program. And of course, some due to the work commitment or personal commitment, they drag beyond 4 years, 5 years, and so on. So in fact, when a student starts writing your thesis, in order for us to make sure everyone, the format that you write and the research remains the same, that is required by the university, a so-called blueprint charts that will be provided. So this is a blueprint chart. Basically, will give students a clear understanding, like what will be the timeline you need to complete what. at your thesis writing. For example, how do this chart works, which we will provide to students at a later stage. It's like, at the first, you need to actually do a research on your business related issues. To identify the issues, you need to list down how many pointers of issues, and we usually give students, let's say, 1 or 2 months to compile that. And after that, you will need to attend sessions between you and your supervisor, and then you have mutual discussion. They will do a peeling process. A peeling process is where the supervisor will peel whatever questions you prepare. So for example, when if you have this idea saying that I would like to do a research on precious metal versus the economy for certain companies, so the lecturers will basically do peelings. For example, what are the objectives? Do you have the means, opportunities, and of course reasons to get the necessary data from where? So if you say that I can get data from certain companies or government bodies, then the lecturers again will do peeling process. They will ask further questions to challenge that. For example, they will be asking, are those information that you need to collect in chapter 3 data are classified data deemed by the corporation? If so, how should we overcome this problem? If not, make sure you actually get that properly done. So these are all these nitty-gritty processes that will be gone through. That's what we call the peeling process. You will be going through this across this so-called journey with your lecturers. All right. So this is the recommended time frame that what you need to achieve in 12 months, and what are the remaining things you need to achieve in the second year. Of course, as I stressed before and again, we have students who actually put a lot of time into this work, and our students have actually successfully completed this entire doctorate program by attending classes and research in just 2 years. So that could be possible. You can actually adjust the time frame. You can actually drag up to 3 years, 4 years, and on 5 years, or even 2 years, depending on the individual progressions, right? So let's move on to the next so-called area. It's on the fees structure. So just to clarify, we have just recently adjusted the course fee for this program starting the November the 1st. So basically, we will summarize this course fee into 3 separate categories. So the first category are catered for those Malaysian students who prefer face-to-face. And of course, it's also catered to international students who do not require student visa. It means that probably it's the international expatriate. You have your diplomat pass, you have your expatriate pass, you have your dependent pass here in Malaysia, and you do not need to apply for a student visa to study with us, but you prefer a face-to-face classes, then yes, the course fee in the first box here will be applicable to you. Just to clarify, how to read this fee structure is very simple. As I mentioned earlier on, over here at Manchester College, we have 3 major semesters in a year, namely the January semesters, April semesters, and the August semester. Let me give you an example on how to read this fee structure. Assuming that a student plans to start your program in the month of January 2021, that is the semester 1 fee, 5,000 ringgit, that is payable before the students start the class. And after that, in April, that is the Sem 2 onwards fee, this college will charge the student 4,500 ringgit in the semester 2 in April, and then another 4,500 ringgit in August. And of course, it will be the trend for us to carry across until the students complete this program. The definition of complete in our terms, it means that the student must complete all these 8 subjects, followed by the thesis writing until the completion of the viva voce. So that is a definition of complete. So as long as the students are able to complete the program, let's say in 2 years, then the total cost fee that you paid in 2 years will be very much cheaper compared to those candidates who drags up the program into, let's say, 5 years. So ultimately, if a student asks what is the total cost fee, to be honest, we don't know. It's all depending on the students. Students, you decide what is the total cost fee. We only tell you this is how we charge. In terms of the total fee, seriously, the students needs to decide what is the cost fee. So as I say, we base on the progression of the students, right? The second category that we are going to charge for international students who requires face-to-face classes as well as the student visa, you can look into the second box. So it is the same concept as I mentioned earlier. It's just that for student visa, the first semester fee will be slightly higher at 15,000 ringgit. So just to clarify, the 15,000 ringgit that we charge in the semester 1 fee, inclusive of the visa application fee, 1 year of insurance coverages, post-medical checkout fee, airport pickup fee and application fee, as well as the tuition fee for your program. So peace of mind, foreign students, once you apply, everything is covered in your year one. You don't have to worry about the nitty-gritty charges, and then you can just pay good attention to just complete the program. Again, the second semesters will be billed to international students at 4,500 ringgit per semesters until the students complete the program. Right. The next so-called fee structure breakdowns, it's catered for Malaysian as well as international students who plan to apply for this program on the online basis. As I mentioned in the previous slides, online, it means that even though the COVID-19 has ended, in the future, the classes shall be continuing as usual through online. So meaning that, as I stressed, you will be getting the same qualification. There's no mention that you're completing this program online. There's no mention of Mantisa or even Malaysia. It will look exactly the same, what you call documentation, as if the students who come here for the face-to-face classes. All right. So in terms of that, I just need to pay attention that online students, the course fee are charged to you by a monthly basis. So for example, if the students plan to start your program, let's say today, for example, then the students just need to pay 3,000 ringgit for this month, in the month of November 2020, 3,000 for the first fee. And then later on December, they have to pay 1,000, January 1,000, and so on, every single month 1,000 until they complete the program. So these will be the online structure fees that we'll be charging to the Malaysian and foreign students. So just one more thing about the schedule. These are some of the frequently asked questions. So some students will ask, regardless if I'm taking the online or face-to-face classes in the future, what will happen to me if I'm not able to attend the class on that particular weekend? So that is a very good question. Just to clarify, to give the students a peace of mind, all the lectures that we conducted across the weekend, doesn't matter you are a face-to-face student or you are an online student, the entire sessions will be recorded. So it means that comes Monday, we will actually just compile this video and then we will send it to students. For those students that you have missed a class over the weekends, of course, the side effect is you do not have the face-to-face interactions, also called the live interaction with your lecturers. But however, with the video recording, we hope that that will be assisting you to recheck what are the topics that's covered. And of course, if you require further clarifications from the lecturers, you can utilize the weekend 2 to 5 as a consultation week to discuss the matter with your lecturer. Of course, the same thing shall apply on weekend number 6. You're required to submit your assignment through the portal. All right. So let's move on. I think that would be the end of my presentation. So just a feedback before I pull the traffic to the live trial class. Just to clarify, the live trial class will not be taught by me. It'll be taught by our professor, Dr. Mala, for the subjects of business strategy. So just to clarify, she's a very experienced lecturer, have been teaching for many years in the corporate world as well. She has worked in the corporate world for many years in the consultancy department, consulting industry, and I would believe that you will enjoy her class. Now, moving onwards, how to apply for this program. Of course, if you require our program consultant to contact you immediately now, so what you need to do is just to press 1 and then enter in the comment box so that our program consultant will actually address to your questions immediately. Otherwise, for the rest of the students, no problem. What we want you to do today is just to enjoy the class. Later on, around evening, we will send you an email. By the time, if you think that you like to apply with this program and then with us, all you need to do is just to send us through email, or you can actually WhatsApp the necessary documents to this number. So basically, the documents that we need from you in terms for academic screening process will be a scanned copy of your master's certificates, number 1. Number 2, the scanned copy of your transcript. Number 3, a latest CV or resume. And of course, for international students, it doesn't matter if you're applying for online program or a face-to-face program. We appreciate if you can also scan to us a passport profile page so that we can actually identify you accordingly. All right. So just wonder before I move on to end my session, is there any other questions that I can address or assist you with? So if you have any questions, don't worry, just type it in the chat box. I'll be more than happy to actually go through each and every of these questions and address them accordingly. All right. So moving on, what next? Just give me 1 second. I'm going to put this in the chat box. So sorry, give me a moment. Yeah, so for anyone who wish to join the trial class now, so you can see in the comment box, that's the link. So what you need to do is just to click the links, then the form will actually direct you to another page. So this is what we call the attendance taking. Don't worry, it's free of charge. So what you need to do is you click the links in the comment box. You can refer to the step, that's step 1. Step 2, all you need to do is just to fill out your online form so that we know who actually joins this trial class later on. And then once you have filled out your details, you would just need to take note of your screen, whereby we will display the Zoom link as well as the password for you to join these sessions. All right, so one more last thing is for delegates today, since you're joining as a guest, we appreciate later when you get into the Zoom room, please change your name to this format. So you can actually put this guest dash and then followed by your name, so that the lecturers or the administrator are able to identify you if you are the existing students or the guests. All right, so what you need to do is just to click on the links provided in the chat box, and then it will direct you to a form that you need to fill out your attendance before they will display to you the necessary Zoom link and password. Meanwhile, for the students who are not clear how to do this, don't worry. What I will do is I will going to WhatsApp you in the WhatsApp group on this link, so that you can actually, it's much easier for you to just direct the traffic accordingly. All right, so just wonder, is there any other questions that I can assist anyone in this afternoon session? So as I mentioned, just feel free to write it in the comment box. I'll address to each and every of the questions accordingly. Yeah. Okay, if there's no questions, thank you so much. So don't worry, I'm always reachable by the number. So for those who are in the WhatsApp group, you can actually click and chat with me if you have further questions about this program or something that is not clearly covered in this sessions. So my number is as displayed here. So it starts off with the country codes, which is the Malaysia country codes, followed by my telephone number. You can actually WhatsApp me whatever questions you have. And of course, don't worry, we will actually keep in touch with you from the next weeks to come, so that if you have any further questions, you need time to consider and think over it, don't worry, we will actually communicate further from there. Okay. All right, so that would be all for my session. So right now for the guests, you may proceed by clicking the links, and then you can go straight to the traffics. So you can go straight to the class and then to enjoy the sessions. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay, so yep, for the guests, so I'm going to end this live broadcast from Facebook. So as I mentioned, the live class will be conducted in Zoom. It's not from the Facebook, so you need to click this link, and then it will direct you to a form. You need to fill that up. Only then you will get the Zoom login details to join the trial class. Okay, so if you have any other questions, just feel free to write in. Otherwise, thank you so much for your time, and of course, do keep in touch soon.